hence I have so I saw Ned this morning, yeah? That's Randy's dad. So Randy, my friend who died.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move your table just a little bit like that, because this is actually the best angle I ever make a video on. I look better in these videos than I reckon any of the rest of it, funnily enough.
Weird.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you wouldn't think so, because it's like an up angle.
I know. I brought my scarf too, because every time I see you, you're so cold. I was like, I'm going to bring it in just in case, yeah?
I know. I didn't even bring a jacket today. It doesn't look stable today.
It doesn't. I know. That's why I'm trying to fix it.
Do you want me to put a tissue box on it?
Ah, that's cool.
There.
It's there. Yeah, thank you. Oh, so I didn't wake up until he texted me. I knew we were seeing each other, but boss usually wakes me up routinely by 8:30 at the latest to go for a pee, because I don't keep the dog door open at night. This morning he didn't, obviously. So I got woken up by text messages saying, oh, I'll be there at 10. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's like 22. And then he kept sending messages. So I was like, okay, cool. And, you know me, I'm late to lots of things, but usually it's because I'm making videos. So I made a video and I was in a good mood because the last few days have been hell.
Yep.
And it was good seeing him. Everything was good. I had to go get a new spare tyre because I got a flat one on Sunday. So it's a hell of a story. This, I guess, is what I need to figure out. I feel like I'm clearing through trauma, but as it's happening, I'm more of an emotional mess than usual. So my ability to keep my emotions regulated, it feels like they're less. It's so confusing inside my mind, because I guess I'll just explain what happened. So, as you know, I haven't officially joined the public speaking, and I had decided to wait until after I've graduated uni, right? Now, census is tomorrow, so I've already had to speak to uni, and I've been a crying mess, and I was like, look, I can't put this off any longer. I'm pushing through, yeah? But they had the end of the year social event on Sunday. It was a picnic.
Toastmasters.
Yep. And I was invited as a guest. Now, it was in a location that I've never been before. And so basically I got in my car. I was meaning to pick someone up. And obviously I'm not mentioning where all these places are because I don't want my security going on my videos. But it was a place I didn't know. My car sounded so weird. Nothing felt right. And I pulled over. I turned all the music off and I was like, okay, I can't hear anything. And then I drove a bit more and I was like, pulled over and I was like, something's wrong. I know something's wrong. So I pulled over, got out, and I had a flat. Now, the last time I had changed a flat was like maybe when I was 16.
I've never changed my own flat.
Well, I know how to change them. I'm not physically able to change them.
Well, I know logically how to do that, but to undo one of those.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, no, that's hard.
Wheel nut things.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So in my head, and I'm texting Graham the entire way, right? So I've got all of this recorded evidence of me going, okay, this has happened, and he's like, this is really quite a big potential for you to lose your mind. And I was like, I know, but I'm really calm. I was like, I'm really calm. I'm keeping them updated on the group chat. I was meant to pick up this guy who was actually in the opposite direction, but then go together. So I called Victor, and he was like, oh, yeah, I can go pick him up, swing past you, change the tyre, and then you guys can go. I thought that was fine. Nice and easy, yeah?
It's nice.
Yeah, if only it had have been that easy. It was not. So he picks up the other guy, and then he calls me on the way to mine. Now, mind you, I'm not even 2 minutes walking distance from my own house, yeah? And I already know that I'm super fragile, and I cannot be put into situations where I'm going to emotionally dysregulate, yeah?
Sure. You're already
I'm aware
stressed.
of it. Yes. So
all the spoons have been given away.
Yeah. And they've been gone for a while, let's face it. We're slowly doing it, but yeah. And I was so this is what made everything worse. I was so proud.
Because you were putting all these spoons into this, and then you really wanted to spend your spoons on this, but then you got a flat tire, and then all of your spoons were gone.
Yes, but I was holding it together extremely well. Even Graham was like, I'm so impressed. This is amazing. Like, you should be proud.
Right.
And I was. But then Victor calls when he's on the way with the other guy and then goes, oh, so actually, I have a family Christmas lunch happening, so I'm just going to grab you, drop you off, and then we'll figure out the tyre later. And I'm just like,
Figure out the what later?
fixing the tyre later.
Oh, the tyre.
And I'm like, okay, I didn't know any of this. Why didn't you just say no? You know what I mean? So he grabs me. I've had to chuck everything I need into a duffel bag. I'm put in the back seat of this car. I'm following the directions exactly as it's been given to me in the chat and the GPS.
Mm-hmm.
But because he hadn't been honest and said that he was actually free, like he wasn't free, he became more and more stressed because trying to find where we were going was so much more difficult than it should have been. And I'm in the back seat of this car and I'm being dismissed. I'm being treated like I know nothing and I'm not handling it. I'm literally texting Graham going, oh my God, I'm witnessing what you must all witness when I'm crashing, because it was happening and it was causing me to become severely anxious. Like I couldn't breathe, yeah? And I was still doing everything I could. But now he's all stressed out because he needs to get back to this lunch. His family's arriving. Now, I don't know in what planet you can look for signs driving at 50 k's down a road, back and forth. Like by the time, like, so I'd messaged the two women like in a separate thing and saying, look, I don't know what's going on. This shouldn't be this like this. They called me. Now, the first thing people automatically do, I swear to God, there needs to be classes taught on this shit, is say, just breathe, relax. I'm like, don't say that to me. And they just keep doing it. And I'm just like, every time someone tells me to relax, you're just making it worse. So I sent a very detailed message to this woman saying, please, whatever you do, I'm at breaking point now. I'm not being listened to. I am being dismissed. They've all added on by saying everybody else could find it. It wasn't that difficult. Why are you struggling? Like just piling on. I am now like completely emotionally dysregulated at this point, but holding it together as well as I can. Like we finally get dropped off in what is this paddock car park thing, and we find out and like Victor's gone, like Victor says something to me like, I'm only trying to help you. And I'm on the ground trying to put stuff together. I've got notes flying. It's windy. I'm emotionally dysregulated. No one knows where we are. He's like, I'm leaving. And I'm just like, I'm literally on the ground trying to grab papers that are flying away. Like, he leaves. Then we find out from the two people doing like the security thing that we are nowhere near where we need to be. We're still at least a 6-7 minute drive away, and now we're being told to get Ubers. Now, by this point, he'd left. It was me and the other guy who's got a walking stick. He's in his 80s. Yeah. We've got chili bins or eskies. We've got freaking chairs, like so much stuff. And I'm so past it by this point. I'm like, all you had to do was say you weren't free. They could have organised for this man to be picked up and I would have went home, because I know I'm not strong enough to do this in this sort of situation. But because none of that happened, when these security people were like, you need to catch an Uber, I broke. That was breaking, right? And I just started crying in the, I can't breathe, I need to go home, why the hell is this happening, why does this keep happening? Like, I had no idea where I was, and all I needed was for him to drive slower and listen to me, because I'm giving it per the instructions. And at this point, I'm just like trying to figure out where I am, needing to get an Uber home, crying my eyes out. I'm clearly humiliated by this point. People keep telling me to relax. And then I'd sent the message through to these two women, and I was like, please, whatever you do, do not say those words to me. They rung. First thing out of this woman's mouth, just relax. I lost the fucking plot. I lost it. I screamed at her every fucking which way, like swear words. And I was like, what the actual fuck? I was like, does nobody on this planet understand how to deal with people with trauma? Handed the phone to this other man and said, I'm fucking done. Yeah, like I have to leave. I'm crying my eyes out. These are people who I'd said yes to the invitation for because it was the only Christmas event that I was meant to go to. I have literally zero plans. I'm spending Christmas Day alone with my fucking dog, yeah? And I'm just feeling like, oh my God, not only have I yelled at this woman, I'm now fairly certain I'm on speakerphone, so everybody's heard it, and I'm just inconsolable mess. Obviously, because I've been dropped off, I had my vape with me. I'm trying to vape. I'm trying to get my shit together. I'm waiting. Now, mind you, this is like 40 minutes or so that we've been trying to find this place. And in the end, we ended up in this, like I said, they were like, we're still quite a distance away. And it wasn't until like over 45 minutes by this point, one of the people at the picnic decided to drive and find us to get us. And I'm just like, how was this not done right at the start? You just had to drive to the end of the road. We would have found you. Yeah. Like, I can feel the man next to me and how humiliated he is to be associated with someone like me, because I was a mess. I was a fucking mess, yeah? And all I wanted was to make sure he got his shirt, the other guy got picked up. I needed to know exactly where I was so that I could go home, yeah? And I'd messaged the woman saying, look, I'm really sorry for how I spoke. I'm beyond breaking. Like, I've not kept it a secret that I'm dealing with trauma. It's not like, oh, you're talking to me. I'll tell everyone everything, for fuck's sake, you know? Anyway, I was like, look, I can't do this. I don't want to ruin this for everyone. I think I'm just going to leave. And they were like, oh, it's sad, but if that's what you think you need to do. But by then, this other guy had arrived. And he was like, look, if you haven't called the Uber yet and paid for it, he's like, just come with us. Now, it took every single bit of me to do that. I stuck it out. And I held on to that the whole time. I held on to that. I was like, I did not leave. I pulled myself together. I went. I made it. Everyone was fine. I pulled the two women aside. I was like, look, I'm so sorry. I'm not dealing with shit well. I'm dealing with releasing trauma. It's coming out left, right, and center in the most inappropriate places, obviously. I'm like, I don't like who I've become, but I'm really sorry, but this is what's happened. Now, they were all so lovely and kind, and it's okay, and it's fine, but, you know, fucking mental illness doesn't make that any easier. So in my mind, I'm just like, I know you've all heard this. I'm almost positive I'm being lied to. Like, I still felt so completely out of it, because I was just like, I sat down in my chair, I had some food, and I just felt like all of this had happened. And I got home, and it was like, I was vaping, let's face it, the entire time to stay calm. Because, like, I was just, like, I'd already broken so much. And because of how proud I had felt and how good I had felt, and just, I was so happy when everything went wrong and I was fixing it and doing all the right, correct things. My emotions were fine. And then to go from that to that, it was like, made it 10 times worse almost. And all I kept telling myself was, hold on to the fact that you stayed. Hold on to the fact that you stayed. And then I did. And then obviously I had to get a ride home with some people. And my car still got the flat tyre at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, can you go one street over so I can grab all my stuff out? Because my handbag, all my stuff's in my car. And then I got home. I literally got straight into bed. But the next thing I see is I've been removed from the group chat, and no one has said why. No one's contacted me directly. Now, when you're using group chats on like WhatsApp, you can see if a chat's been deleted or if you're just the one that's been removed. So I can see that the chat's still very much in play, but I've been removed. And I messaged the woman who did it, and I was like, is this, because I'm not a member? And she was like, no, nothing like that. We don't really use these. And I'm just thinking, well, that doesn't make sense. It's like saying 2 and 2 equals 6, not 5, well, 4. Because I can see the messages of everyone talking about sending photos through. I can see all of that. I can see I've been removed. I'm the only one that's been removed. And I'm just thinking, look, yeah, it could be my imagination, but on the ride home, I was so out of it because I just knew that I was going to break, yeah, and I was just trying to keep every single bit of me composed till I got to my front door. And on the ride home, the two people that had given me a ride, they were like asking me questions, and I mentioned the videos, and I was like, I wanted to be a professional public speaker so I could learn. And honestly, I was like, this is what I do, and I'm not going to stop doing this for anything. If I'm not allowed to or able to join whatever it might be because of what I'm doing, then it's not something I'm going to do. And all I'm reminding myself is I haven't officially joined. Thank fuck, because I'm so humiliated. Regardless of the fact that these people were all nice to me to my face, that removing me from that, even though I know it's so dumb. And the fact that Victor treated me like I owe him. I don't owe him anything. All he had to do was be honest and say, no, Liv, I'm busy. I have a lunch and people arriving any minute.
What happened with him since? When was this last weekend? Just
This was Sunday, yeah. Just been. I have not sent a message to him because
also it poured rain, so I'm glad you didn't.
I just, the other thing with him is like he won't stop looking at me like I'm someone he wants to date. I don't know how many fucking times I have to tell someone, not interested. He's 37 years older than me. I'm not even 37 yet. Do you know how many times I've had to tell this man back off in that regard? The amount of times he's tried to put his arms around me, the amount of times he's made sleazy sexual innuendos, sending me fucking topless pictures. Like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah? And
this is news.
Yeah, because I've been trying to let it go, and I've been trying to be like, okay, I'm going to, the friendship's going to help me, I'm going to learn wise, but all this is happening at the same time, and it's making me so freaking uncomfortable, yeah? And so when he turned around and he was like treating me like I owed him for everything when I'm having a fucking breakdown because he just couldn't be honest, like I said in the video I made whenever it was on Monday, I was like, I have written and rewritten messages to that man. I said he's, for his own sake, very lucky I haven't sent any one of them because there's nothing I have anything nice to say right now. I'm so fucking angry because now I truly am like, thank God I've never joined this club. But
I don't think it's Toastmasters themselves that's the problem. Perhaps it's this club.
Yeah, that's what I said to Graham. I was like, you know what? Who knows where I'll be in a year? I have no idea where I'll be in a year. There are hundreds of clubs all over the frickin' place. Every suburb seems to have one.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about the issues one by one. Okay, you're already struggling with the tire. You're already using up all of your energy and efforts to try to go to this thing. Then the tire happens. Okay, you okay?
Yeah, someone was ringing us, make sure I hung it up.
And then let's look at it. I'm going to be really generous here to Victor. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll circle back to that.
Yeah, no.
So maybe he genuinely forgot that he had something on, and or probably more realistically, he was like, I could do both. Like, I'm an I can do both person. You know that. I'm like, I could do both. Everything's fine. Everything's totally fine.
Yeah.
Except it's not always totally fine. And then I often run late to things and I get up the ante and up the ante and up the ante. So Victor's dysregulated and you're dysregulated and everybody's dysregulated and he doesn't listen when he's dysregulated. And communicating is not so easy when you're dysregulated. So you start off doing the best you can, but we know that your triggers are feeling invalidated. So this is happening. The old guy, it's just sad for him. Fine. Yeah.
Well, those two are great friends. They're the ones that have created clubs.
So he got lost, which is getting lost and feeling lost and stuck and behind and late are the most stressful things, I think. If you've ever been lost in another country and you can't speak the language, you're just scared. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So he did what he thought he should do, which is, look, you've got to be close. I'll drop you off. Okay. Give him a call. Walk. I don't know about the guy with the walker, but hey, whatever. Okay. So he goes off and does his thing. Now, did he lie? not really. He wasn't like, he probably just omitted that he had a function thinking he could do both, but I don't think it was like a lie. Like, I'm totally free
but
just to screw with you. I don't
no,
think that's the case.
I don't think he did that, but he told me he was coming to fix the tire and that would be it.
Sure.
Then he should have.
I think he probably thought he could,
Mm.
but then he couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's because things change.
I know.
Flexibility is not so easy when we're
I
dysregulated.
still went ahead with all of this.
Yes. So I'm going to then say, all right, dysregulated at the time, tried your very bestest. What can we do differently? A few things, which we can talk about. But you got in the car, so there's skills and stuff we could do then. We can validate how you're feeling, self-validate, which, you know, is hard to do. Self-validate. We can take a time out. We can, quote, relax. No, I'm not going to say that. We can try to use all of our relaxation strategies. I'm not saying you didn't try these things, Liv. I'm just saying these are the things that we do for educational purposes only.
Yeah.
We can do tip skills, and we can, you know, go for a quick run around so that, well,
Like
no,
I
yeah,
said,
you could.
I was handling
You
it
can
so
do
well.
all those things. Then you get in the car, you go to this thing. Now I'm super proud of you for doing that. I think the thing that happened at the party, let's
Yeah,
not
it's
call
like
it
a
party.
picnic, social gathering.
I can't imagine Toastmasters and party in the same sentence. Like, it's just a really hard.
Yeah, I know, right? But it
Okay,
was
you
like
know what I mean.
yeah,
Get your punch.
drinking and eat food
Like
and all.
real drinking?
Yeah, like
Oh,
alcohol and
okay.
everything.
Wow.
Mm.
More credit than I thought for Toastmasters, not like Cole's Wraps. Anyway, then, so you go to the thing, which is great, but then at the thing, you're not actually at the thing. You were in this thing. So instead, what we could do is grounding, and being in that moment. Listen to what people are telling you instead, because what you're doing is thinking. You're not there.
Mm.
So in a lot of ways, you weren't really there.
Mm-mm.
And I'm really proud that you got there. And this is, if this were to ever happen again, a different strategy we could use. Okay. But in the end, you stuck it out. And you need to give yourself some credit for that, please.
Well, I was.
Then you get in the car with these people and you go home. And that's fine. Although be careful who you're getting in a car with, dude.
I
Just
knew who they
saying.
were, but true.
Okay. And then, just saying.
Yeah.
And then you get to your car, you get all your stuff. Now, okay, good. Then you go home. Okay, good. And then you get back in bed and you put some spoons back into your drawer, cup. Anyway, not the point. You're getting that all sorted, which is good. Okay? Now, getting deleted from the chat. You told the lady that you weren't going to join, and we told the lady that this was all hard and you didn't really want to be there. Maybe they thought you weren't going to come anymore.
True, but I think I meant it more in the sense of like when you remove someone, which is so evidently, like, why don't you message that person as in message me and say, hey, Liv, because you're not a part of it, I've had to remove you from the group or something. Like,
especially
I had to
because
go
it's
to...
all about communication. Anyway, so because some people are not so good with confrontation.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So some people don't put on their big girl pants and say, this is why I'm doing this and this is the decision. They don't like to stand by their actions. Some people just like boot you from the group. I don't know if it says who boots you from the group.
Yeah, it does. I knew exactly who it was. That's why I messaged her and I was like, can you tell me what is going on?
Okay, so good for you. She should at confrontation. Because then it was like, oh, we don't use that group much. Well, bullshit, because you've been in the group, you know it's quite an active group. So that's not the case. It's, I don't want to talk to you about this because I'm really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. You just have to appreciate, as does she, that everybody is different. And that's okay. And I am not therapy on your end of the fence of, look, if that's going to happen, just be straight. But some people are just not that good at that. And I can also be like, well, that's sad for you that you don't have the skills, to be honest. But that's her problem, not your problem. Hopefully she has her own therapist for that.
She's got her all own stuff. She's the one I wanted to be my mentor. She was the one I wanted to be friends with, to get to know outside of it, you know.
She's not good at honesty, so let's not. Because then you have to think, is this person,
I feel
this
like
individual, have the values that you're looking for? And until now, we have thought so. But perhaps not with the new information. Now, that's not very generous to this lady, be saying that she's
She's
not
got a
honest.
lot of her own stuff going on, and I appreciate that.
The lack of, I guess, the lack of confrontation. You want someone who's going to be able to openly and honestly communicate with you, call you on your crap, and tell you what's happening in the real kind of like direct, honest way. You appreciate direct. That's not her.
Doesn't seem to be anybody so far.
So, you're out of that WhatsApp group. Disappointing, but at the same time,
Focusing on the good, I haven't officially joined.
Focusing on the good, you haven't officially joined, but also, like, I didn't know that you were feeling super uncomfortable every time you were there with Victor.
Because I wasn't saying it to anybody, because I didn't want him to feel bad, and now I'm just fucking over it.
But at the end of the day, Liv, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable in any of these situations, and I'm going to be really blunt, which you're not going to probably like. I'd rather you be really alone than be taken advantage of.
Oh no, I got the.
I don't like it that somebody's sending you pictures of themselves wearing no clothes, like.
Yeah, no, it was gross.
Yeah, unless it might not be gross to some people, but it's not something you've invited.
Oh, I've made it impeccably clear. It's what I don't want.
And if it's continuing to happen, then
3 times on the same dog walk, he tried to put his arms around me until I literally had to grab his arm, push it away, and say, "Do not do it again."
So I'm just gonna be like, okay, this is not someone from a personal safety, not just personal safety, well, yeah, personal safety, but personal mental health. Like, don't re-traumatize yourself.
No, I know. That's what I've been
don't put yourself in a position where, someone of, quote, authority is going to take any kind of manipulative action towards you. If the implication is that you're saying that he feels like you owe him something, well, it's not going to be you. Yeah? So that's not I don't care what kind of group it is, that's not what you join.
No, and you're right, because I said that to Graham I was talking to Graham literally as I was walking out the door to come here, and I was like, I am not that desperate for friends, to have friends and people who are trying to make me, like, all he's done since meeting me is look at me as someone to date. He's gone out of his way to make it impeccably clear, and I just keep saying the same thing to him. Your children are older than me. In what planet would that even make sense?
A lot of people do like older individuals.
37 years though? I'm not even 37.
Well, some people, but I'm not going to judge other people's sexual preferences. But your sexual preference is not him.
No, not even a little bit.
You get to decide what you do with you, and that's not okay.
Which is why I haven't messaged him, because there's nothing for me to say.
And interestingly, he has also not messaged you.
Yeah, which I'm thinking is a good thing.
Yes. So, what are you going to do if he does message you?
Just tell him the truth, which is I cannot continue this friendship, relationship, whatever it is, for whatever reason.
What is the reason? You like it when people are honest?
I've been made to feel uncomfortable due to the fucking sexual innuendos that he continuously says, the pictures that he sends that I do not want, the fact that he made it impeccably clear that I owed him for this ride on Sunday when I don't at all.
Would you then, without those behaviors, would you befriend him? If he wasn't sexually inappropriate, is he otherwise... has he really just missed the cue? Like,
no,
is he naive
he's treated
or problematic?
me. Look, I thought it was going to be fine, but it was becoming really apparent that he thought he knew everything because of the age gap. So there were multiple times where I would say something and he'd be like, "That's not right, that's not right." And I'd be like, "Well, actually, for a fact, here it is. It's exactly right. Please don't,
science
don't tell me that you know everything when you don't." And that was starting to happen more and more. And let's face it, you know me, I'm not going to let people fucking try to walk all over me, because just like you said, I would rather be alone.
Yeah.
Because I can't
So
deal.
this group, regardless of the agency in which it's associated or
See, he's not even a part of that group. That's the thing.
What?
He's a part of a different group because he's got his own problems. That's why he wasn't coming to the picnic in the first place. So, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I thought he was going to.
No,
he was like, "I'll pick you up," and then, oops, I forgot I have this thing I have to go.
So he knew he was in the middle of organising his lunch, having people come over, and he just like dropped it. And I'm just
That
like,
sounds even weirder.
it is weird. Well, I guess what I'm struggling with is I just feel like I'm having these breakdowns every day. I cry every day, and it's like I truly feel like I'm clearing out trauma, which is great, but
It is. Okay, tell me. I'm going to try to find it. Okay, tell me, in the car, you know how you were trying to tell them and they were invalidating you. Tell me how did you try to tell them?
I had
Let's
the
try to
GPS
find the
on my,
communication. Yep.
and I was relaying the messages, and they kept trying to tell me, oh, it's this way, that way, and everything else. I'm like, look, guys, it makes more sense since none of us know where we're going to just follow the GPS.
Siri knows where we are.
Yeah. And they'd given us direct details, exactly where to go, step-by-step instructions,
Turn
pictures,
left 400 meters, the
everything.
whole thing.
And yet I kept trying to say this, and then it was like, I don't even know freaking how long we've been in the car. Victor's like, oh, I didn't hear you over the air conditioning. And I'm like, you fucking fine little, you know what I mean?
He knew enough. He can hear you enough to say no, Liv.
He's like, I'm trusting you. And I'm like, and I'm trusting the GPS. So it's a win-win. And nothing. It was honestly one of the worst fucking car rides I've ever had, ever.
So you're like, turn left 400 meters, and then he'd just keep going.
He was driving so fucking fast. There's no way we could see the numbers. We couldn't see the signs. Like, his panic, obviously, for being late was rising, therefore rising mine. And to just be dropped in a field where none of us knew where we were is just, I couldn't fucking believe it. I was just like, nah. And I spent the day in bed on Monday. I spoke to uni yesterday. They're like, are you sure you don't want to drop out by senses? And I'm like, well, I'm not going through this again, because if I don't do this one, can't do trimester 1, then it screws me out.
I don't know what census is.
It's the last day to drop out before it fucks up your transcript. So if I was to unenroll today, I'd get my money back and it wouldn't be on the transcript.
Okay. Why would we want to unenroll?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to, but because I'm emotionally dysregulated and I'm behind at uni and I'm crying and all this bullshit, like, I did manage, because I was crying and she kept saying, and I was like, I'm 2 weeks behind. And when I eventually calmed down, she's like, tell me exactly what that means. And I was like, I had a really bad mental health week. I spent a few days in bed that put me behind. Trying to catch up with the quizzes put me behind again. And she's like, what exactly are you behind on? And I'm like, content. She goes, okay. She goes, have you got any assignments due in the next couple of days? I'm like, I don't have anything due until January. And she's like, okay, so you're fine. She goes, almost every student out there is like 2 weeks behind in content. She's like, I thought you were like this gigantic assignment due tomorrow. And I was like, no, nothing like that. And since I literally have no plans except for Christmas Day, which I'm going to spend with me, myself and my dog, and Sebastian again, I've already seen he's up at the park. He's gone. Victor came again, still with the anyway, get off that topic. So Sebastian's gone, which obviously I'm missing, because every time I walk past his enclosure, which I need to clean and sow, it's getting to me. I've had him for 18 years. It's
How
like,
long do they live?
Oh, a lot longer than that.
Holy shit.
I got my snake when he was a tiny little wee baby. And I was like feeling so guilty, because I can deal with my snake. As long as someone's near me, I'm totally fine. And I kept second guessing it, like, maybe I'm losing my mind, maybe this is crazy, he's my baby. And then we got there, and obviously I couldn't go out to the staff room waiting to see him in quarantine, and I don't think I'd really thought it all through. And the guys took him out and they came back and they were like, he is really huge. And I was like, well, at least I'm not going crazy on that part. He's like, he is one really big snake. And I was like, that's why he's coming to live with you lot.
How big do they get?
Oh, bigger, but he's almost 9 foot now. But like, he's bigger than the width of my arm. Like, his width is bigger than me, to put it in perspective, I guess. And
where did he go to live?
The wildlife park.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I took first time in my entire 18 years of having him, I bought bulk rabbits, and obviously didn't need them anymore, so I sent like 70 rabbits, gave them to him. Chili bin full of frozen rabbits. But yeah, they told me that he's not going to be a display snake. He's actually going to be an interactional educational snake that helps people learn to get over their fear of snakes. So he will be getting howled, and children and adults alike, and everybody will be like, because he's been handled his whole life.
Yeah.
It was me and my own mind fucking with me. I even literally just seen an email.
So he's gonna have a wonderful life.
Yes, I did the right thing, absolutely, and I know I did. And
so, what are you gonna do with the enclosure?
I'm putting them all.
Question.
I'm putting everything on Gumtree for sale. Just gotta clean the bullshit.
Is it like a? Sorry.
It's
is
a
it
full
fish
on
tank?
No, it's like a 3 foot
glass.
by 2 foot glass with like cupboards underneath it and all that stuff.
Oh, cool.
But I've also got one out the back, and I've also got 2 spider enclosures in my shed. So I'm just gonna list them all and be like,
do you have spiders too?
I had a tarantula, but she died during shedding.
Oh.
Didn't know spiders shed until my spider died. But yeah.
Tarantulas are pretty.
I know, I like them, they're so pretty.
Why
but,
are you getting rid of that then?
Because the reason I had to get rid of Sebastian in the first place is I cannot handle having wild animals in an enclosure anymore. It just breaks me. It's too much, you know? And I've got Boss, and he's just finished his round of, like, arthritis, and even just trying to walk, Victor would walk him, and he would try to like control him and like hold him, and there was so many times where my dog couldn't breathe, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? My dog is nearly 10, because he was just trying to make him be this fucking dog.
Like,
and I was
like,
like,
not a harness, like a collar.
yeah, and I was like, what are you doing to my poor dog? I'm like, this is for him. He doesn't need to be trained. He doesn't need any of that. He's literally just finished a 4-week course of like arthritis treatment. Like,
let him run.
There's just too many things. And
okay, so there's a lot of change happening. We know you don't like change.
No, you say that, and I like change. It's just that it takes me a while to grasp it. And I think what's dealing with me...
We don't like change initially.
Okay, we'll put it like that.
Let's do that.
What I'm not coping with more than anything at the moment is the fact that I hate this time of the year. I'm trying to really enforce like how much I hate small talk, why actually being by myself is better, my birthday's smack in the middle of the holidays, reminding myself of all the good things. But when I'm with someone, like I see you, or I had to go get the spare tire fixed, and I met this morning for a coffee, and it's like I'm okay, and then as soon as I walk in my front door, I break. I just got to the front door today, and I was barely able to put the stuff on my table, which is as close as you are to me, and I just hit the ground and collapsed into a mess of crying. And I cried and cried and cried while trying to fill my pillbox. Graham rang me in the end. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I cannot live like this for the rest of my life. And I don't know how to help myself because I'm doing everything I feel like I can possibly do. And it's like, I walk in the door and it's like I'm hit with this isolation. That I'm in therapy, I take the meds, I'm working my ass off, I do every single thing that I'm supposed to do, and it doesn't change anything. Yeah, I might be able to get through stuff faster, awesome, but turns out I'm still self-harming. I just didn't realise. I've just changed the method. And I only realised it like 2 days ago. But instead of cutting myself, I'm not taking pain meds when I need to. It's like a self-informed punishment. I make myself feel how badly I feel because I feel like I deserve this. It's like I'm so close to 37 and I'm just this pathetic, crying, falling apart mess. And I just want to be done with uni. I just want everything to be done because I realised that I went from being declared totally disabled to the ice to trying to get better and help others straight into uni. I haven't stopped. Because I feel like I don't belong here. I'm just so different. I'm so sick of being told that people can't deal with people like me. I'm still alone. Still alone. I'm always gonna be alone. Oh, I had my neighbour who's lovely and helped me fix my tyres, so I'm grateful to him. And I have Graham, and I even said to Graham, I'm like, I'm so aware of the fact that you know. Like, you're basically my only friend. I can't put pressure on someone like that. It's another year. Just another year that I'm alone. And I don't even fucking like Christmas. I hate Christmas. Stupid Santa Claus fucking lying bullshit, but it doesn't mean I don't feel. The only way I seem to be able to do anything these days is if I can vape, or I had to take a Valium just to calm down, and I just feel like this pathetic mess, and it's no wonder nobody wants to be my friend. I wouldn't be my friend. I become someone I don't like.
You'd be your friend.
Why am I still broken? Why am I still this broken? Even Mum's talking to me, and that's good. It's superficial as fuck, and that's fine, but it's stupid and nothing. And it's like, I don't know. They're talking about the fact that the rules are going to be changed, and that I can be a resident, and you know, maybe it'd be good if I could get some help. I'm struggling. I'm so struggling. I cry every day. Do you know how hard it is to try and focus on uni when I cannot stop crying?
So let's talk about it.
Tell me how I'm going to do this.
Liv, you've always been able to do anything you wanted to do, and there's no question that you could. I guess it does raise the question then, should you take a little break from it?
It would literally mean taking trimesters 3 and 1 off again. It would just push everything out. All I'm doing is holding on to an ending. I just need this to be over. I just need it to be over.
I agree with you.
I'm never going to use this fucking degree. I did it to feel like I was worth something, and it's...
So Liv, you can do it.
The funny thing is, I'm actually enjoying it.
You have to know, though, that if you don't want to, you don't have to.
I do want to. I want this to be done. I just keep beating myself up because I'm behind. And then I try to be like, you know, it's fine. I keep telling myself I'm mentally trying to deal with so much.
I think, though, this is the thing. I don't know anyone right now who is on track with it. And I see a lot of students, as you know. Okay, so please know that you're not, like, comparative. Like, there's always a date, but comparative to the real world You're doing as best as we could ask. Okay?
That's what the lady at uni said. She's like,
Toastmasters, like, fuck 'em. I mean, super.
no, I'm not even going to
but
think about them
same.
again.
But then you have to, then you say, you know, like, and this is pushy. You know, sometimes you have the black and whites.
I do.
Sometimes, okay?
I know.
It's that I'm alone. Well, there's Ned you had coffee with this morning, and Graham who calls and is one of your best friends, and, you know, unfortunately Randy's passing, which and until just recently, a huge network at Toastmasters who were new relationships, but things that you were willing to explore.
Yeah.
Okay? And the people at uni and us and your doctor and all sorts of stuff. You know,
I know.
when we look at it really, I know it feels alone sometimes, but when we look at the truth,
I know.
it's not all like that.
It's weird though, because I know it's not like that.
Yep.
But
it's overwhelming. Then I want to talk to you about why the overwhelming as soon as you walk in your house. This is controversial. This is a pretty big hypothesis.
Go for it.
Dude, you spent 2.5 years alone in your home during COVID. Every time you walk in the house, there's an overwhelming aloneness. Aloneness? Yes. Aloneness. I think there's some trauma from that. You know, that's hard for people. That was hard for you. The single bubbles and stuff, and there was the weird neighbors and all that stuff. Like, at the end of the day,
I like who I am when I'm not this version.
But the thing is, you know, why are you crying every day? I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that you've tried to be vulnerable, which took a lot of strength and effort. And then, you know what happened? Shit. It went to shit. And then you got a flat tire. And I think last time I got a flat tire, I think I cried too. Because I think I was leaving my office. I got a flat tire and I couldn't get home. And I'd had enough. It was a really big day. I couldn't manage it. And we cried. That's fine. And then Christmas is coming up, which is shit for you. Every year we know that. It's end of year for school and making big decisions around that, which has been really hard for you always. And you are going to be done with it. And you know what, Liv? What are we going to do with all that energy then?
Lie in bed and smoke a lot of weed.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. But, you know.
That's the answer, honestly.
But at the end of the day, I want you to be really clear. Right now you're focusing on all the negatives. It's all the what I can't do's.
I know.
Even with, oh my gosh, is that a child's noise? That doesn't even happen in this clinic.
You're right, I know that.
When we look at, this is the black and whites, and this is because once we start this, like we're gonna imagine like you're wearing, what's the opposite of rose-colored glasses? Gloomy-colored glasses. Everything just has that tinge, and it makes it really hard to see the other stuff. And I want you just to notice that that's what's happening, and that's the lens that you have on right now, and we can change it out. At least change it to clear, so you can see both the colors.
Yeah, true.
But at the end, Liv, you know, right now it's also about being, you're tired. It's the end of the year. Everybody has that fatigue. And Christmas alone, we've been there. And it's a day, and if you take away all the Santa stuff, it's just a day. Sticky tape a Christmas bauble to your wall, and that's okay.
It's more the fact that it's supposed to be a day of people coming together, and instead it's a day of politics, whereas I'm unable to go to anyone's house as a friend because Graham was asking if I could go to his, and then there's like family dramas, and then he's like, you can't, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, I figured the case would be, but then it was like, oh, you can come out after the lunch, and I was like, I'm not sitting at home all by myself for the entire day, unable to have a drink, unable to have a smoke, and then driving in shitty fucking traffic at 6 p.m, and he gets that. He's coming, he said he'd hopefully better come visit me on Friday, and then my birthday's obviously coming up, so